Welcome to today's Labor Coalition video. We ask that should you decide to comment, you reflect the spirit in which we have raised today's topic, because today we truly don't care for who you voted for in 2013 and we don't care who you intend to vote for at the next election. We simply wish to discuss something which we think should be of concern to all Australians. Today we would like to talk about Tony Abbott's citizenship status. Now surely by now everyone in Australia is aware that it's been alleged Tony Abbott still holds dual citizenship, and as such is ineligible to be in the Parliament. Now surely we could all agree that if these claims are true, he should never have been made an MP or Health Minister, and he most certainly should not have been appointed as the Prime Minister of Australia. Currently this issue is being referred to by some in the media as a technicality and being deliberately ignored by just about everybody in the government. A Freedom of Information request was made to the Australian Government which received a written response. We do have a copy of the document here. It will be loaded to our website. You can read it in its entirety. But the salient points provided by Mr. Robert McMahon, Assistant Secretary of Parliament and Government Branch in the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet, states, I am authorised to make this decision in accordance with arrangements approved by the Department Secretary under Section 23 of the Freedom of Information Act. Having regard to my knowledge of where documents potentially relevant to the applicant's request would be held, if they existed, the following locations were searched: the Department's file management system, the Department's current and former ministerial correspondence database, computer drives of relevant branches in the Department, and email accounts of current officers in relevant branches in the Department. As a result of these searches, no relevant documents were found in the Department. I have decided to refuse the request under Section 24A1B(2) of the Freedom of Information Act. 24A1B(2) states, an agency or minister may refuse a request for access to a document if the agency or minister is satisfied that the document does not exist. I am satisfied that all reasonable steps have been taken to identify documents relevant to the applicant's request and that no documents relevant to the request are in the possession of the Department. I have therefore decided to refuse this request under Section 24A1B(2) of the Act. Now that's not to say the document doesn't exist, it just means that it's not in the parliamentary databanks. Now, call us crazy, but we tend to think if somebody was once an English subject, immigrated to Australia, undertook dual citizenship, then after a time was appointed Prime Minister of Australia, their full and correct records regarding things like their true identity and citizenship status would be on file and a matter of public record. Yet it's been stated these records do not exist, and this discrepancy is being treated as a minor thing. But is it really minor? Because if Mr. Abbott has entered our Parliament under false circumstances, then it can be argued everything he has done since 1994 is in fact unlawful. Now we say unlawful rather than immoral or deceptive because it is actually illegal to accept money you aren't entitled to receive. But more importantly, it's also illegal to sign your name on official documents you're not entitled to sign. These activities are generally referred to as an act or acts of fraudulent activity for personal gain. Now, Tony Abbott sits in the highest office in our nation. He now possesses the power to affect our entire future, our incomes, education and personal lifestyles. He can impose or repeal law, he can send our troops into combat and 100 other things which we can't even imagine. But most concerning right now is the fact he is potentially about to commit Australia to an international agreement that will forever change how we as a nation do business. The TPP has such far-reaching implications it could literally alter our country's entire identity. And that isn't going to be a short-term thing, it's going to be forever. So if it's true that under any alleged unfair altering of the terms of trade under the TPP can be challenged by another country with compensation sought, then try to imagine the demands we potentially face if for some reason trade terms break down and it's discovered Tony Abbott wasn't legally entitled to sign the agreement in the first place. That's why a technicality over the Prime Minister's citizenship is actually not a very small problem for Australia at all. So is the Attorney-General going to ignore such concerns and refuse to investigate or provide the Parliament with a clear and definite answer? Is the opposition once again going to remain silent, doing nothing? There is no doubt that by now Tony Abbott has double checked. Tony Abbott is now fully aware of his citizenship status. So hypothetically, if Tony Abbott is still a dual citizen and has concealed that fact, then surely all future acts on our nation's behalf by him could easily be viewed as deliberate acts of fraud. But there is a simple solution. If Tony Abbott is legitimately present in Parliament, and this entire issue is simply a matter of some misfiled paperwork, then all Tony Abbott needs to do is publicly present one simple document to the Parliament, and all these allegations would immediately end. So the only real question left in this matter is, why doesn't he? That's a question every single voter in this country needs to be asking, not just themselves, but their local MP. Ask it loud, and ask it often, and demand a satisfactory answer gets provided. And please, can we all work together to have this resolved before any life-changing global agreement is signed by Tony Abbott on our behalf? You know, just in case he really isn't supposed to be doing things like that.